Hey guys, it's Drew here at Card of My Eye. Today we're going to be making an altered box using one of these chest altered boxes from treasurenest.com, and we're going to use some collage images from lisasalteredart.com and some Bow Bunny paper from their Crush collection. So this is a Crush collection from Bow Bunny. It has neutral colors, and I'm going to be using this one that says love across it. It has these stripes that say love, and I'm using my ATG gun to adhere that down to the card, and then I use my X-Acto blade to cut around it. And I know you probably can't see it because I'm at an odd angle here, but I just cut around it, and then I use my sand file to sand file the edges down. It's just a basic emery board that you use for your nails, and I'm just using that to sand down those edges. And then I'm again adding adhesive along the edges, and I'm going to add a little bit more of the paper, and it's going to go all the way around the bottom of the box. So I'm going to do, I don't like cutting out any process, so you can actually see me do the whole thing, so I'm not cutting out anything throughout this whole video. So again, adding more adhesive, and the ATG gun works great for that because it's a dry adhesive, it goes on really easily. And then I'm just adhering that down, and again I'm cutting it with my X-Acto blade. And really any X-Acto blade works fine, and then again I'm filing it down. And I don't have enough to finish up my edge there, so I'm going to need to get another sheet of that paper. Luckily, you get 3 sheets from each Bow Bunny collection, but I don't want to pull out the whole sheet, or else the other piece of the whole sheet that I don't use is just going to be thrown in the trash or something. And I turned the light on because I wasn't sure if you guys would be able to see it a little bit better like this. And you'll see it go on and off because my camera's all weird, and it kept on changing the lighting, and so I didn't know what looked good or bad for you guys. So yeah. So I covered the whole bottom in that love paper, and then I'm going to be using some more of the Bow Bunny Crush collection paper with these little bird cages on it that have little hearts and birds inside of them, and they're on branches, and I'm going to add them to like the side semicircles of the treasure box. And again, I'm going to trim around those edges there. And then again, you're going to file it down. This will give it a really smooth edge, and it's going to just line it up perfectly. And again, I'm doing the same thing to the opposite side to give a nice covering of the paper. You could also paint your box if you don't want to like cover it with paper. If you decide to paint it, you could do that, or you could use some mediums in collage, which is what I'll be doing a little bit later. So I am just sanding the box again, and what I'm going to be doing after I sand the box is I'm going to be using these lisasalteredart.com images and this 1-inch punch, and I'll have the link below. I'm a designer for lisasalteredart.com, and I have the this 1-inch circle punch, and I'm just going to be punching out the circles, and with this 1-inch circle punch, and I can't get around the whole page, so you'll see me be cutting them into strips, and we're going to use these to collage the rest of the box, so it's going to look really cool. So I'm just going to let you guys watch this part of the video without me talking. Okay guys, so I have all of those Lisa's Altered Art Charm 1-inch circle images cut out, and I'm going to be using some Mod Podge, and this is a glossy Mod Podge, and I'm going to be just using the lid because it has some in there. And I'm going to be wiping it on the top of my box, and I'm going to start to press down these images. And it's not going to really be smooth when you start to place these images down, which is absolutely fine. But one sheet of the collage images will cover up the whole top of your box, as well as it will also, you'll have a few extras that you could add around, collage onto the side of your box if you want to. But I just love these Valentines. These are her new Valentine's Day images. And so I'm just, as you can see, I'm just working up the box with this collage. And then once I'm finished with collaging the box with these little dots, I'm going to be adding a full coating of the Mod Podge over the top, and that's going to lock every piece of paper in that we added onto the top of our box, and it's just going to give it a nice glossy finish, and it's going to make everything appear a lot more brighter and finished. It's just going to look really great. So you can see I'm almost done here. So again, I'm just using the glossy Mod Podge and these 1-inch circles, and you can see it all done. And I'm just going to add a full coating of the Mod Podge over the top. And you don't need a thick coating. I do it like a thin coating. It's just going to lock everything in. It's going to smooth everything out. It's just going to make it all look a lot cleaner and nicer. So just working my way down the edge of the box and finishing that up. And so now we're skipping on to a new video. This is when it's all dry. You can see it's a lot more glossier. Well, actually, you probably can't. You might be able to there. It's a lot more glossier and brighter than before. And I'm trimming them with my Tim Holtz tonic scissors because my X-Acto knife was kind of ripping the paper. And then I'm going to use my sand filer to really file down those edges. You can see how I'm going sideways, which gives it a nice filing. And filing everything down to give a nice sanded edge. It's going to really clean up your edges, make them really super smooth. So that's what I'm doing at that part there. You can see it all collaged on the top, and I love the way it looks. It looks like a sheet of paper, but we actually collaged it with some lisa'salteredart.com images. Then I'm using this red paper from the Bo Bunny Crush collection. I'm cutting some 1-inch strips to go on the edges of my box. I thought I was going to collage all the way down, but I thought this red strip would make it look really nice. It just kind of added a bold piece of coloring right where we needed it. So I'm doing the same thing to the back, again using my ATG adhesive and just trimming them up with my X-Acto blade there. And so after we have that all done, you can see my treasure chest there, and that's kind of what the top looks like all collaged. And you could do multiple coatings of Mod Podge if you'd like, but I didn't really want to. Then I'm using some Barn Door Distress ink from Tim Holtz, and just going around these images, or more like these patterned paper pieces that I pieced onto the box. And it just really gives a nice kind of depth look to it. I just really like the look of it. And I'm also going around the top where I collaged all that stuff onto. So I'm just, again, inking it up with the Barn Door Distressing ink from Tim Holtz. And then what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using some of this pearl strain that has these square pearls. And this is from treasurenest.com. It's the same place that I got the box from. So I'll put their link in the description below. And then I just put it across the bottom of my box, or more like the top bottom section of the box. And then I'm also adding it to the sides of the box as well, which gives a nice look to the sides. It kind of finishes off the edges also if you didn't completely sand it down. I thought it looked a little bit better like that. And just gonna wait for that to dry, which it's already dried. And then I'm gonna be using some Prima flowers, and the Prima flower that I'm gonna be using is from their Angelus 2. These are their Angelus 2-inch flowers, and they look really great. And they are fabric, so they're really super cool. And I used a pink one in there, and I'm not adhering it on. But I am grabbing some other things that I might want to use. So I'm grabbing a Swarovski crystal and a 15-cent ticket and some Prima E-line pearls. That was just left over from one of my butterflies that I got from Connie. And then I'm using some of these Smitten Can Company collection glitter stickers. I'm going to use a love as a title of my box. I'm just placing them onto the box, and I kind of ripped off the E and the V, but you can't even tell. Then I'm gluing down that Prima Angelus flower, and I'm using the 15-cent ticket on there. And this box looks super duper vintage, but then modern at the same time. And I'm using some of these Prima pearls, which really adds a nice touch. And there's lots of swirls, as if you were using the Seyden pearls or Seyden crystals, so they're really great to use. Cut apart your Prima to use them. And so that is basically what our finished box is going to be looking like, just adding a couple more pearls here, and then I'm going to be adding some of the glittery hearts that come in the sticker pack there, just adding them on to various places onto the box, just like that, and that finishes it up.